I'm recording.
Yeah.
Lennon, does your microphone pull out a little bit more?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
speaking
can
of
do
pull out,
You could do whatever you want it to do.
Uh,
Which way do you want it to go?
I think just bring it a little bit closer to your mouth, just because I feel like you should sound.
oh, I hope you're recording
should-
this.
Now put it in.
Fuck.
Epitome of inch by inch.
Jingling. Gotta
What's up,
have
everyone?
for them to jangle.
Welcome to the Any Given Sunday podcast, Week 9 recap. I'm Rebel Scum, no time champ, joined by my other compadres on here, some champs, starting with the 2022 champ, Ambassadors of Quan. Kraken.
What's up? Love, respect, community, and the diet freedom.
Coming hot off the AGS all-timer game of a lifetime right here. We'll talk more about that. Kamish, four-time champ, was cracking over there. Fresh off the vacay, week-long vacay, man. How you feeling?
I was feeling better when I was on vacation. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Welcome back, man. It's great to have you. And NJC, two-time champ, defending champ. How you feeling, dude?
Man, I'm feeling okay. You know, it's an L. It was a good victory for Lewis. I will be happy that I'm a part of what's considered the greatest AGS game of all time. Fucking Travis Kelce, man. For the record, though, Todd Bowles, I know you're never going to watch this fucking podcast, but next time you're fucking in Kansas City and you're about to fucking beat the Chiefs, fucking go for two, bro. Just fucking go for two. Do us all a favor. Thank you.
Todd, the NJC wouldn't have had to burn his victory speech, if he had gone for two.
Yeah, we know how you
No,
feel
man,
now.
I mean, hey, good win. Good fucking win.
Well, that was this was the game of the frame of the league history, of league record, because of all the implications. As the commission mentioned pre-show, we had the rematch of the Super Bowl, and you guys have matched up previously in another Super Bowl, right?
No, in a semifinal matchup.
All right. Well, long-standing rivalry, and you guys are 7-1, and kind of supreme shit talkers, trolls in your own right, and each of you had opportunities to really let each other feel it when it seemed like victory was in hand. Let's let you guys talk more about this.
If I could just throw a couple more things out there. They're both 7-1. Tied for the lead in AGS. It was a 1-point victory by the Quan, barring any stat corrections tomorrow morning. Came down the game, like NJC alluded to, it had to go into overtime. I think Kelce caught, in football terms, just it was a minor play, a 2-3 yard catch, but that was the exact yardage that Quan needed to get to the 100-yard mark. To get that point, I think you get the 100-yard bonus, and he needed every point he could get to get that victory.
Yeah, shout out to that bullshit, and shout out to that fucking whack ass kicker Richard, who's gonna get dropped so early tomorrow morning. It's gonna. You know what? You'll see his drop earlier than you fucking added DeAndre Hopkins a couple weeks ago.
And the lead up to the game, I mean, there was Pucker Up Buttercup, there were goat gifts, there was bestiality and Lippy Ricardo, NJ Shee and Trannies bringing it back, spread them, right? Put the wig on. It's going to be a long Sunday. It might have been a longer Sunday for the Quan than it was for NJC, but he came up in the end. A lot of shit talking, man. It was a big matchup, so let's dive into it. Let's hear about it.
Winner goes first. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, I'll just say, It was another stressful ass game. I've had a few of them this year where I've had to win on the last night. And Travis Kelsey, of course, like he caught that little pass in the end to win it, but he had been catching 3-yard passes all game. It really was just a little just inching at that score the entire game, all the way to the very last play. But shout out to NJC, man.
But speaking of Kelsey though, Quan, he got off to a really hot start, and it was like, oh, this could like Quan's looking good, right? He was looking real good, hot start, and then there was
like 6 points in the first quarter, man.
Yeah, but he was just about to get to like 9.5 points, and he fumbled. And then after the fumble, it was right around halftime, and it got quiet. Like there was no scoring for damn near till the fourth quarter.
Yeah, man, it was a perfect storm, man. I think that that's what keeps us addicted to the league. I think that's what makes us believe in the fantasy gods and all of that. I mean, just seeing two of the arguably biggest shit talking teams with the best record go up against it, and it came down to the final second. I think it couldn't get any better than that, right? You know what I'm saying? So, good win. The caveat I have though, bro, is it's difficult to beat somebody twice in one season. So let's hope I'm glad you got it out your system. The next time I see you, I don't think Joe Burrow's going to throw 5 touchdowns, and I don't think you're going to get lucky in overtime. So we're going to see.
Okay. Yeah, we shall see. But yeah, you know what? And you're right. I beat you last season in the regular season and lost in the Super Bowl, but it was before the trade deadline, and you made a huge trade prior at the trade deadline. It gave you a player that's pretty much sustaining you this year as well. But we're past the trade deadline now, and this is the team that you got to roll with. And I got my team that I'm rolling with, so we'll see. But there's no extra amount of confidence because look, it was 1 point. It was at the end. I think if we played each other 10 times, who knows who's going to win? Our teams match up perfectly. But I'll say something like that it was stressful, and Joe Burrow put up a bunch of points that but he's got a ceiling like that, and but he's got Joe Burrow doesn't always put up those points, but it's crazy to see Lamar Jackson like light up a Denver defense that all the every single quarterback is struggling with. I mean, and then Zay Flowers on my bench. I know Zay Flowers for any other team is a starter on anybody else's team. But
I fucking should have made that trade with you.
Yeah, but what did I offered you something for Zay Flowers? Drake London or something? Or I
don't know. Given the fact he has that hit pointer, I should have fucking did it.
But Zay Flowers is a starter on anybody else's team, but when you got Amon-Ra and Feedy, it's hard for him to make the lineup. But no one starts a receiver against Sertan, and Zay Flowers lit him up. He couldn't, stay with him out of those slants. And then the thing is, Lamar Jackson plays so much time, dude. But I know Lennon, you probably missing Lamar Jackson, but dude, he's killing the league right now.
Dude, I mean, I agree with you, man. I was like that, but that's why I said that's what made it for a good weekend, man. Sitting there watching Red Zone, we were literally going touchdown for touchdown. Like it was like Lamar Jackson touchdown, fucking Joe Burrow touchdown, and I was happy though that first touchdown to Chase Brown, because that kind of equalized some of those goddamn points. But man, it was a good weekend. It definitely was.
I'm not overconfident, but it's moving forward. I'm looking forward. This is my team's finally healthy. I don't, pat myself on the back, but I think the depth of my team has allowed me to continue to win, even with a bunch of all 3 of my running backs have gone out, for an extended period of time. But it's good that they're back. A Chain is I mean the amount of I was listening to an analyst the other day talking about how many that he's averaging over 25 points with Tua, and so man, moving forward, it's looking good. It's really going to come down to Joe Burrow, but yeah, but that's it. Yeah, great game, and French pudding was good.
Quan, I admire you.
You know what I got to say to that fucker? Look at my back. You still fucking looking. Fuck you.
All right.
I'll take that.
All right. Hey, Quan, I admire you for talking such epic shit early on, super early. I mean, earlier than usual, like first half of football, Thursday night, kind of early shit. At any point yesterday, did you regret kind of like, fuck, I wish I hadn't gone so hard because it's going to bounce back and come back at me?
Dude, I had zero faith coming into this Monday night that Kelsey was going to win me this game. I had hope. That's what I had. I had a lot of hope, but faith, I didn't. Like lately, he has not been winning me these primetime matchups. I mean, like he used to. Even in the Super Bowl, the last time me and NJC played, it came down to Kelsey versus Aaron Jones. And I was like, man, this is Travis Kelsey always wins me the game. And man, he feels good.
So I think to your point, Nick, though, like when especially Quan playing NJC is going to talk shit, and you can't back down, right? So you got to keep up with the jokes that started before the game. Then they're trading gifts. Somebody scores here, somebody scores there. So, I knowing Quan, I think he would rather play the game in silence. But when you're playing a team like NJC, you can't back down from the shit talking.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
I would rather play in silence, but I will say the shit talking is what makes our league fun. So you got to participate. No, I don't ever. I do. When I'm losing, I do feel like karma's coming back up on me for talking shit. Like, God damn it, I talk shit. Now karma's coming. The fantasy gods are punishing me once again. But it's fantasy football. It's for fun, and no one likes a boring ass non-rivalry game. But look, when the game was close throughout Sunday, both of us were quiet. Nobody was saying there was nothing on the thread.
Yeah, I noticed you guys stopped talking about having sex with each other. Which one of you two guys is it the hardest to not bring that up first when you go ahead?
No, that's Lou. That's Lou's. Lou only has 2 punches: groomsmen and tranny hunting. That's all he's got. So when he brings those out, that's.
Thank you for bringing up. Thank you for bringing up tranny hunting. What is the origin of this joke?
Man, simple. Simple. Very simple. A long time ago, I sent a picture to the group thread of this woman who was very plump in her southern region, and
this woman
and
pussy meat doesn't come in that size.
Man, it was a woman, bro, but it was enough. It was too much. It was too much, pea meat. And okay, and I mean, fuck it. It's out there. Here's what it is. The underlying joke is that I'm a man who likes a couple extra slices of meat on his sandwich when other men would prefer 1 or 2. So that's where it, is what it comes from. The RB, never mind.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
I mean, that kind of fruit doesn't grow on those kinds of trees, brother. So I mean,
that's not what it means.
NJC loves all
the rumors.
NJC loves all the pronouns.
Listen, speaking of, I mean, this is going to come out after voting, but yeah, it's a very important election also going on at the same time as all rivalry. So hopefully everybody gets out and vote. I am an ally of the LGBT community, but I'm only an ally. So let's just keep it there.
The fact that you had to clarify that for
Well, based
everybody
on the
is,
content of this conversation that's going to be public, with professional careers still
You're-
paying all the bills, I'm going to be very politically correct.
Did you become an ally during college or after college?
After I saw you at your worst, I became an ally.
Hey, speaking of which, that Trump, it seems like the Republican narrative is playing on the homophobia of our country.
Well,
It's,
I mean, that's
it's
the only thing. That's the only safe
Hasn't it
point. Not to cut
always?
you off, Lou. Well, no, I agree with you, Lou. I'm
Isn't
glad
that
you
kind of
went
their
there.
agenda?
It's the least of the three punches they can throw that's not going to fuck it up. You can't go color. You can't go woman. You can go. It's going to be a free fucking country if you vote her in, and she's the reason that Biden's country went to shit. You can't say the other two, otherwise you lose. So you got to say that's the only thing they can do to try to, get away with it.
And I was traveling in the South with a very MAGA friendly black man from Inglewood
Jesus
for a week.
Christ.
And he was in his happy place. I think he went to a country western bar one night, and what I realized, he wears the hat, and it's not the red one and white one now. It's like a more like blended dark brown where you have to really look closely to see it. And I realized why he wears it, because it gives him an entryway into a club that he's never been invited to before. And like every white person that we run into, they recognize it and they see who's wearing it, and they just embrace him, and they like everywhere, man, in the line at the airport, at the bars. And I was like, oh, this is why he does it, man. Like all these people who would never share anything with him, they never invite him to a party, they never have a drink with him. Now all of a sudden they're like his best friend. So I see the attraction to it. But literally, NJC, what you just said, man, is like, we had some debates about it because half of the group was on one side and half was on the other side. And all this particular individual does is just spout what he sees on TV. It's the LGBT bashing. It's the what happens if your daughter goes into a bathroom and there's a guy next to her or something. And the
Somebody ask for your fucking brother's number, you fucking idiot.
It's the
fear mongering of that is over the top, Lord.
And that Kamala commercial, well, she's just going to give all the money to the people in jail for transgender surgery. And I'm like, man, do you know anything other than what you've watched on television?
but that's what the hope is. The hope is that, people don't do their fucking research. And that's what the base is. Not to get political on a fantasy football fucking podcast, but that's what the base is. They're fucking sheep that accept what they're spoon fed. They rely on social media. They don't want to do their own research. They probably don't read real books. They probably, a lot may not have gone to college. Not saying everyone, but I'm talking about the base that just drinks the fucking Kool-Aid. That's what they're going to do. They're going to push that fucking narrative when in actuality, it's a real ugly truth. So, whatever.
They definitely appeal to the lowest common denominator. You could see that in the South. I mean, I think the median family household income in South Carolina is like $50,000. Individual men are like $29,000. I walk around there like everyone, you saw real trailer camps, campgrounds. I mean, nobody there they were like, you guys came from California to here? Like, we're trying to escape this fucking place.
We just want you for your golf. That's it. Go back to your trailer, Bucky Drew.
But you could kind of you could see like, oh, okay, these people are like literally retarded.
I hate to beat a dead horse, Coop. I'm gonna go back to something you said, bro. If you got to put on a very ugly mask to go to a party you've always wanted to be invited to, number one, that's probably the party you shouldn't go to. And number two, what does that say about you? That's it. I love this person we're talking about, and I can understand why, but come the fuck on, man.
Well,
Sorry.
The era of critical thinking died with the rise of social media. So trying to have any sort of intelligent discussion about these kinds of topics falls on deaf ears, even more so when with a voice as loud as the former president, who might end up being the president again. I mean,
Yeah, it's not
Biden
looking.
said it right. It's not looking good. It's
Hey,
not looking good.
Lou's got insight on the celebrations that are already planned.
Oh my God, man! They're renting out like stuff for the celebration parties, renting out mansions and stuff. But they have a huge caravan plan going from Simi Valley all the way to Newport Beach. Like it is
Who's that?
the MAGA cruise.
Oh, okay.
It's going so.
Who else would be traveling from Simi Valley to Huntington Beach?
Well, I wanted to know like what specific contingent was it? Like, are you telling me like this was a like a job related thing, or if this was
no, it's a caravan of
I got you.
probably pickup trucks and flags.
The unwoke people that look like you.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on.
We'll have that mustache but without the beard, Nick.
Yo,
Hey,
oh, man.
wait. So while we're predicting, I don't know if we're going to predict who's going to win next week, but are we predicting
Next week?
Tomorrow?
Like, the fantasy football. We're not, the week of matchups.
He's ready.
Of course.
Are we? No, I'm saying, are we?
That.
You guys predicting it's going to be Orange Country again for next 4 years?
I'm not predicting. I don't know, man. I
think he's going to win. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope. Please put egg on. Please. I hope.
Please be loose sources. Please be loose.
Please be wrong.
Loose sources.
If I had to bet my house on it, I would say he's probably going to win this one.
Yeah, because it's really, I can't imagine it would be a clean victory if it's not already in his favor. And I feel like dragging it out it'll be like that hanging Chad in 2000, like, remember that hanging Chad? They're all, Al Gore is the president. And they're all, wait a minute, we got to recount these votes. We got some hanging Chads. Turns out we were wrong. W. Bush is the president. Sorry
so do we have any kind of finality tomorrow night?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, if it's a blowout, if for
not
any
gonna be
reason,
bad.
if it's a 5 to 10 point blowout, when it's not,
If it's a blowout one way, it's going to be disputed until next July. If it's a blowout the other way, then you will definitely know by tomorrow. But I can't imagine it's going to be a blowout either way. That's what I think. It's going to be close. Maybe till Christmas. I hope it doesn't ruin Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Orange and robots. It's going to be a scary future.
Closer than the NJC Quan game tonight. Before we let that game walk, I want to say, and to bring it back to fantasy, you guys scored 152 to 151 with a healthy amount of bench points. Quan 50 points on the bench with Rico Dowdle and Zay Flowers. NJC with almost 35 bench points with J.K. Dobbins and Calvin Ridley. Props to you guys, man, dominating the league. We got an 8-1 team, a 7-2 team, and with the potential, to put up even more points with those points on the bench. So great watching you guys battle, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. Hey, I'll give it to NJC, who came into this draft with you didn't have a first and a second pick. With that, I was confident you will not have any depth in your team, but you hit on some picks late that have really helped. I mean, you hit on JK was a hit, and Deontay Johnson was a hit. And then Tillman.
Tillman. He's a beast, bro. I think Tillman has a future in the league. Fucking Diggs and fucking Drake London went down, man. So that you got an AC joint to deal with. I got a fucking hip pointer to deal with, man. So we'll see.
I want to shout out the commissioner. A couple of minutes ago, he put a fucking bow on this matchup, and then Quan had to drag it back in and stomp on it again. Right. So
thanks
a lot, Quan, for just circling back, we did
No,
15
but thanks
fucking
for
minutes on your
saying
matchup.
something nice. You could have been real.
All right. Oh,
You were a
Jesus
gentleman.
Christ,
Before we
dude.
move on, Lou,
And
you were a
then
gentleman.
as it gets later in the night, Quan's like, I gotta go to sleep. Hurry the fuck up.
No, but Lou, you're a gentleman. You're a gentleman about this. I appreciate it. You could have talked a lot more shit. So yeah, next match.
For a transition, Quan brought up Lamar Jackson, and yes, like, was Lamar playing like this when he was on my team? Not really. Definitely not last year when I traded him. Even after the trade deadline, we had the infamous viewing party at Queef Swallower's house where everyone's making fun of Lamar. But the dude's he's looking like the MVP leader in the clubhouse, his third MVP. You know, hindsight, of course I missed those points, particularly when you look at a week like this where I have two quarterbacks that I was depending on and neither one of them cracked 15 points. So to have that consistency it definitely is missed, but you have to make moves to build up your roster. And, you know, I'm not mad at myself for trying to do that. I feel like other teams need to do that too and build it up and find QBs. I mean, there was a point Joe Burrow went off this week, but I think after the draft, even you were second guessing yourself, Quan, if you should have went Kyler Murray or not. You never know. I passed on Joe Burrow for Jordan Love thinking he was going to ball out. There's been signs, but then there's all these injuries. I benched him because of the injury and the weather in Green Bay. Dak's got this cool matchup with Atlanta. He's out for a month. So you just never know, man. And the fact that you guys hit on two quarterbacks that came through in the clutch game, that's all you can hope for to help lead your team to a championship.
Very well said, man.
Thank you.
Very well said.
The bow is on. I'm not gonna take the ball.
Anything else, guys? Any other?
Well, no. I mean, we can walk it into his matchup.
Right. I was going to transition into my game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This
We
is
can walk it
perfect
into his
transition.
matchup. Because I was going to say, Coop. You know, I think that you know, it hurt both ways, right? Like it was painful for you to trade Lamar, but you had Neighbors, who is the clear cut fucking WR1 in a shitty offense, who's going to eat. You know what I'm saying? You have what do you have next season? What draft from me? You have second or third round?
Second pick.
Second. So you'll capitalize off of that. I mean, fucking.
At this rate, it's damn near going to be a third round pick.
But I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, dude. Like honestly, number one, I drafted.
God damn it!
I'm mad. I should have just kept him, you know, and just see what happens. But I was saying to myself, of all the teams to have him, I'm, you know, at least. You know, it's not like a, you know, fucking a Lewis or a fucking Curse or somebody else, because DeAndre's about to be a fucking beast on that team. You can see.
Hey, well, let's start right there. Actually,
go ahead.
Let's start right there with DeAndre Hopkins, because unfortunately you lose tonight, and certainly playing DeAndre would have made a huge difference. But I understand the logic behind the roster that you set. But my question is about going forward. 3-6. It's real tough to make the playoffs. You got to win out. Just assuming it's a worst case scenario and it's not playoff bound for you. Like, what do you think the move is with Hopkins? In my opinion, he seems kind of like a 1 year one-off, maybe not a keeper unless you win a consolation. But I mean, do you even think about that? That's just where my mind goes. But do you even think about that now, or are you just gonna wait till later?
Well, since the trade deadline has passed, there's nothing to do with him.
Right. So I mean,
like he might get some run on my team. Coming off, particularly this week, like I didn't see enough last week where he was going to start over Puka, Garrett Wilson, and Malik Neighbors. You know, maybe the knee injury at practice could have scared me enough to slide him in there. I mean, what really hurt me in my game was Dak getting injured when he did, with, you know, almost a half of football left. And fucking Puka Nacua throwing a punch and getting ejected, man. Those things killed me.
Yeah.
But what do you mean about DeAndre Hopkins? Like, I mean, there's no trade that. What do you?
I think it's asking
that's
a potential keeper. Like trade deadline is over. Like moving
Exactly.
forward.
No,
trade
I don't.
deadline's
I won't.
over.
I won't have enough keepers for Hopkins to be a keeper on my team. I don't think so, man. I mean, he's how old is he? He's in his 30s.
30s, exactly. So I mean, it's kind of, yeah. I see where you're sitting, man. It's a bit frustrating, but at the same time, at least you keep him out of the hands of some of these other teams, So fuck all of these other guys.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, I mean, I would say that Awumi probably like ended any realistic chance of me chasing the 6th seed. Like you said, I'd have to win out, and I mean, I don't even think I've won back-to-back games yet this season. So winning 5 in a row is probably impossible. But I got a talented roster. I don't I have no reason to throw any games for a higher draft pick. I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to set the best roster I can and try to win out. And definitely, worst case scenario, put myself in a position to fight for the extra keeper in the consolation bracket.
Yeah, man. I feel you on that. I'm looking pretty much at the same position as you, and it's basically a week-to-week thing, and it doesn't matter who's got who on the team, what the rosters look like. You never know what's gonna happen week to week. Who's gonna drop fucking 36.5 points? Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. I mean, that's fucking wild, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? 36.5 points. Who's gonna?
I mean, it was so bad that Awumi had already waved the white flag.
He did.
And
that
freaking bomb in the end zone.
He waved that white flag, and that called the fantasy gods. They were like, "No, Awumi, you've been punished enough in AGS." As soon as that white flag went up, Puka gets ejected, Dak gets hurt, Smith Njigba just starts looking. I mean, everything completely changed.
We put the Njigba on you.
He put the New Orleans Nigerian Njigba all over me, man.
Njigba.
But every week, man.
This is actually a significant win for him. I mean, he's 5-4, and Tua's back, so maybe Tyreek gets some juice in there, and he has a decent running game. He's got some talented players here. You never know, man. Maybe the fantasy gods are about to throw him a bone.
He might knock somebody off.
Hey, one question about Awumi that I'm wondering. What are the odds Awumi keeps Anthony Richardson next year? He's doing it. He's keeping him. Whether he's a starting quarterback or not, I bet you he's keeping Anthony Richardson.
He is loyal to his rookie contracts, almost to the point that I don't know if he knows he can cut them in the offseason. He's loyal to them. I mean, Anthony Richardson is interesting. I think it depends on where he's at, what his situation is, but I think you're right, Quan. There's a good chance he keeps him. And this just continues the trend of my season, man. Like people really showing up the week that they played me. Who's coming back at 135? He might have put up points like that one other time this season. When do I get the Queef Swallower matchup with 52.5 points? When do I get? I mean, I play Rudy next week, but who knows? He'll probably have the game of his life. 88.5, Curse 107. Like when can I get one of these fucking layups? Voodoo 91.5. Give me a layup, man. I've been getting crushed every week.
Well, I wouldn't call the
Speaking of who the fuck puts
layup.
up 50? Lewis, you put up 52 points on your fucking bench, bro. Like
that's pretty bad.
150 to 50.
That's pretty fucking bad.
Man, it is a colossal low scoring. But I'm looking at his roster and I'm like, okay, so where did he go wrong? I don't know.
Well, he dropped Goddard for Zach Ertz. That's what you get, half a point for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Kyler's team puts up 30 points and he only gets 4 of those.
Devontae saved him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It doesn't. He didn't. I mean, the McLaughlin. I mean, was there anybody else he could have grabbed or tried to start? I don't know.
I don't know, man. He put up 52 points, bro. Like, I'm just looking at all these scores. Even Jamon limped in with 100 points to win to get to 6-3. Like the battle of 6-3 is on.
There is a team. Queef Swallower scored 52 points this week, but the week I play him, he put up 165 points.
He's a high score.
I can't catch a break this year, man.
Hey,
it's been a hard luck season for you.
Isn't it ironic, bro? That I don't know, man.
It's been a hard luck season for you.
I had one last note for my game before we transition. I think NJC last week in the prediction for this game, I think you said Awumi's, or maybe it was Nick, that he's boom or bust. He boomed the hell out of me, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I had a doctor's appointment today. I had a physical, and my doctor scheduled me for my colonoscopy. So I don't think it's a coincidence. You know, I get the Nigerian. I get Nigerian all season long. He's like, let's check that butthole out.
It looks wrecked.
It looks wrecked. Oh my god.
Hey man, I gotta schedule. Yeah, I gotta schedule my exams too, bro. We're at that age.
I got a history of colon cancer in my family too. I need to get on top of that.
All right.
No pun intended.
45, man. They said they're gonna put me to rest and stick camera halfway up my
make sure you tell Lex to videotape you when you wake up from an anesthesia, because I hear that colonoscopy farts are fucking epic. So make sure she records, bro.
Oh, that must feel good, dude. Blow that shit out. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, moving on.
Lewis had to go.
Speaking of those, I've got to pass one of those right now.
Oh no, that was his chair. Sorry, that was my chair.
Oh my gosh.
Queef Swallow, Sugan D's. Anything else to highlight there?
I mean, Sugan D's, man. It's like trying to figure out his fucking team. I mean, Kamara keeps doing that. I mean, he put up 148 fucking points. Where? If you look at it, it was just all evenly distributed, man. Ramondre.
They play the Panthers. You know, Justin Jefferson is pretty much matchup proof.
Dude, like that is equally distributed points, bro. Like that's dangerous. That's not a lucky week. That's a good team. That's
no. Sugan is up. I mean, what is he ranked, like the third?
Well, now I think he's going to be tied with the curse at 6-3. So those are
Jamon is 6-3.
Jamon's 6-3 too.
Yeah, Jamon's 6-3.
So you got two. We got you two at the top, and then 3 6-3s, and then whoever slips into the 6th seat.
You never know. Slips
Man,
right
it's gonna
in.
be this is the, what does they say on Red Zone, the witching hour? That's what we're in that part of the season where
I like that.
People start, you know, they say wins become losses and losses becomes wins.
Fuck yeah, man. You sound just like the dude.
Yeah, man.
The witching hour. I love the Red Zone channel.
Fuck, man. That's the best thing ever.
Well, Scum, you beat the curse to drop him to 6-3, and
hey, I was giving him a fucking pep talk all fucking day. Good fucking win. I text this fool at fucking 11:48, like, bro, he can do it. Let's get this W for the league. He's like, look, you trolling me? Fucker. Trying to give you some fucking Capricorn love, you fucking ass.
Oh, thanks.
I only talk shit to you when we fucking match up. I don't ever talk shit to you, Nick, unless we get into a Mayo versus almost Mayo battle. Other than that, fucking come on.
Mayo versus half
Quasi Mayo.
Mayo versus Miracle Whip.
Dijonnaise.
Speaking of half Mayo, NJC, do you feel centered now after your walk today?
Man, I had to be one with the universe, brother. I was having y'all know how it is as men. You know, we don't have, we got to take it all. Pause. We got to, always have a smile, always show up, always celebrate everybody else's wins. But sometimes that door doesn't swing both ways. So, had to go get out of the universe, sit on a yoga mat, listen to some music, stare at the city, take a
Is
couple
that
breaths,
the
get the chakras
explanation
aligned.
for the Marvin Gaye get up today?
Hey man, you know it's cold season. You know what I'm saying? The top of my head gets a little cold. You know what I mean? I'm in my bebop stage.
That's his rest in peace, Quincy Jones, man. He's
Yeah.
shouting out young Quincy
Anderson
Jones.
Paak, Marvin, the whole anyway.
Hey, Quincy Jones. I'll say one thing about Quincy Jones, man, before we move on. I was watching his little documentary and he said something that was eloquent that I apply to life. And he was saying this, he was saying he can make music, he can make any type of beat for any kind of music. And the guy interviewed him said, well, why? Are you just that talented? He was like, nah, there's only like 13 or 16 ways you can arrange music notes. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, you can only arrange music notes a certain amount of ways. So once you understand how to arrange music notes, you can make hip hop, you can make R&B, you can make rock and roll. So you can apply that to life. Once you understand how something works, once you get them keys, you can figure some shit out. So that was eloquent. So rest in peace to a great man.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the most legendary music producers in the game. I had no idea he worked with Frank Sinatra. I knew a lot of his work. I didn't know he did shit like that. And it makes sense
Frank
because
Sinatra.
I mean, his background was in jazz, right? If I remember the We Are the World documentary correctly. That's
If I'm not mistaken, I think he worked with Bruce Springsteen too.
And
Yeah,
he
Corn, what are you
created
smiling about?
he created some of the most beautiful women to walk the earth.
Oh
That too.
my lord! Shout out Rashida Jones.
Yeah.
Ay, Dios mío. Anyways, yeah. So I had a
He made music for Frank Sinatra.
Hey man,
But
Frank Sinatra knew
you
what's
know
up.
what, dude? What the fuck is this, man? On election eve, you're over here stirring the fucking pot, man. I'm just saying, I didn't know this fact about Quincy Jones.
That reminds me.
It's a hidden
just
fact.
Even Frank recognized game.
Yeah.
No, but no.
No.
Hey, I didn't learn that until I watched the documentary. Also, that he worked with Frank Sinatra, and actually gave me a newfound respect for Frank Sinatra's music
And
because
his fucking biggest hits.
and no, but it was his biggest hits, but it was his biggest risks also because for him to work with the black producer then
Right during
was
Jim
a no-no.
Crow era, fucking United States.
There's a
Lou,
no-no.
Jesus Christ.
Hey,
Yeah, man.
man, all the
Lou,
oats when I took it. Jesus, don't take it personal.
No, to your point, that reminds
Personal.
me.
Hey, you
I'm,
It's a
fucking
joke.
I'm sitting at a bar. I'm sitting at a sports bar in South Carolina. We're watching the World Series, and we're talking about the greatness of Shohei and how much more impressive he's going to be when he's pitching next season. And the same guy wearing the MAGA hat from Inglewood, he says, "It's better than Babe Ruth."
Oh God!
what in the fuck?
Hey,
He
wait,
says
wait,
that
wait.
in front of like
Wait,
four
wait.
black guys that are
Wait,
like, "You
after he
skipped
said
over."
that, after he said, did he go like this to the guys, to the white guys? High five, guys! Come on, come on, the great
The Babe, man, the Babe.
Come on.
Oh my lord. Yeah.
Scum, talk about your game, man.
What's there to really talk about? I got a lucky win here. I got a lucky win. Sometimes teams underperform. I was definitely I was an underdog, and the curse just fucking got cursed on this week. What can I say? It was the cap of a beautiful week. I want to finish fantasy football before I talk about the Dodgers World Series, since you brought up Shohei anyways. But I was feeling pretty good actually going into Thursday's matchup. I always feel pretty good. You never know what can happen. And then I didn't feel so good going into the afternoon. Josh Allen he didn't have a good first half, but I always feel like he comes through in the second half when I face up against him. It's like he's reminded me how dumb of an idiot I was for ever dropping him in the first place. And
Well, for
Cooper
Joe
Kupp,
Burrow to put up 43 points and the Bengals to put up 41 and Jamar Chase to only come out of that with 8.5, you dodged
Right.
a bullet.
huge bullet, and having Chris Olave's head get fucking blown off in the first quarter, and pretty much thinking that was a wrap. for
Hey,
my.
you definitely got stalled out on the thread. I don't think a single person mentioned that injury on the thread, which is
Thank
really,
I mean,
God.
that was if you were watching the game, bro. I'm not gonna joke about no fucking injury like that. Thank goodness he's a lot like.
I mean, you
healthy.
talked about Tua throwing up gang signs, but
I mean,
He
that was
did.
kind of funny.
That was terrible.
His hit wasn't funny. Hey, one thing I will say though, like forget me and Lou's matchup. Like me and Lou's, whoever won or lost this matchup didn't do anything to our playoff standings, to be honest. But your fucking win against Scum pushed him into a more competitive like place to get to the fucking
Against
playoffs.
Spurs.
So your fucking game was actually the most pivotal game of the weekend, to be honest with you, bro.
and you spoke
Mike,
up the last couple podcasts. You've been talking about K. Dot, and man, he came through for you tonight.
he did. That was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not,
Sorry
not
about that,
gonna
brother.
lie. I was looking at those points that K. Dotton had and was jealous. Like, if only Kelsey could give me those points.
Yeah, I was looking at this shit like, thank God it ain't Kelsey, and then fucking he started doing it.
I was looking at that shit, thinking to myself, is a no tight end strategy the way to go in the next draft? Because I drafted a tight end high as fuck, and then I grabbed one out of my dumpster on waivers, and he's
Hey.
way better than the guy I blew up for a second
Hey, you
round
know
pick
what?
on. What
That
the fuck,
raises
man?
that actually raises a good point, Nick. I think we can safely say if you don't draft a tight end in the first round, maybe second, treat it like a fucking kicker. Go to the
You
fucking
might be
waiver wire.
okay.
You know what?
You might be all right.
I will beg to differ. I think we all have a little PTSD over the first half of this season with tight ends, but they have turned it around in the last 3 weeks. So
which tight ends that were picked out of the first round had a good weekend? Because Mark Andrews put up 3 points this weekend.
yeah, but he had 2 back-to-back, I think, double-digit games, and Kelsey
After 6 weeks of trash.
I prefaced it with we have a little PTSD, but I think that the not just Andrews, but Njoku's had some good games. Tucker Kraft has had some good games. Who else has turned it around?
We just got to wait for all the wide receivers to get hurt, and then the tight ends.
And that's what I was going to say. It's not that
helps.
these tight ends are having breakout games. I was a victim of that on the fucking Tucker Kraft thing. It's that, Coop. It's if you don't draft an elite. Bowers, forget about it. He's on a contract that's never going to get traded.
Never see him again ever.
Kelsey, I mean, he maybe has one more season of this, but whoever else, Kittle. But other than that, like you said, Coop, it's an opportunity based position. If receivers go down, you grab that fucking tight end off waivers, and ride them until people come back and then pick somebody else up. I mean, because otherwise, the draft capital you're spending in the second and third round, look at the players you could have gotten that are putting up more points on a weekly basis than the 5 to 10 points we're talking about.
To go back to the Trinity conversation, NJC, did you say ride him? I think that's one of the funniest parts of this podcast when we do that, because I like doing that shit too. Yeah, ride them all the way, Giddy style, ride them all night long. Hey,
just fucking Boosie, Scoosie, just everything, bro.
You showed love to your IE boy Jaden Daniels. You drafted him high in our AGS draft this year. He's been balling on the field. He led you to victory this week, outscored Bo Nix on your bench. And, that incredible Hail Mary last week. And now you're hearing the big rumor this week is that players want to play in Washington now. So kudos to you for identifying that talent early on and locking up what looks to be a great quarterback of the future.
And reaching for him too, and reaching, not being afraid. Went for him early.
Thank you.
You know what? I beg to differ, not to play that pity pat game, but I think that the more and more we have these conversations, I think that we're seeing the value of quarterback is becoming paramount. And if you can lock up a future elite quarterback and put a long contract on him, in a fucking draft, that fuck that, go and get him. I mean,
I say though
quarterbacks are not
that's
coming out.
very, very difficult to do though, man. It's so hard.
I mean, no, I'm saying, I mean, he did his homework.
Yeah.
It was a perfect situation. We're not going to see that all the time, but I'm saying if a unicorn like that comes again, the person that does the work and shoots his shot, I don't think that's a bad risk, because considering that's 30, 28, 30 points consistently a week.
But there's something unique about the quarterback position, because this isn't the first, Lamar Jackson was a unicorn coming out, and he's been on 3 different rosters now. And it's never like a lack of talent. Like, the dude's always been a baller. I think what we're seeing now is they finally are investing in weapons around him. They invested in they've always had a good run game, but they went out and got Derrick Henry. This is the second year in that new offensive coordinator system. So now you're starting to see, I sold too early on it, and you're seeing those dividends pay off.
No, you're right, because I took the same risk with Tua. I don't think I went as high as Tua that he went with Daniels. I think that the reason why I think that the point I was trying to make, I think that you reminded me to make, is if you can do that and put somebody like that on a contract, I think a good quarterback on a contract that is, you have them, you can build your team. And because, like, for me, right, to keep Lamar, that's a valuable position that I'm going to have to sacrifice, that if he was on a contract, I wouldn't have to worry about. So I just meant that for that particular circumstance.
Well, I only wish I had a longer contract to put him on, because I fucking kept 2 rookies on my 4-year and my 3-year, and I wish I would have cut those motherfuckers. But to be honest with you, Jaden Daniels was a round 3 decision I made after I saw Cinque take Caleb Williams. I was like, well, if he's taking that asshole right now, I'm going to take Jaden Daniels, because I really wanted Jaden Daniels. I just wasn't sure how high I was going to go, or how far he was going to fall. Whatever. Anyways, you know what I was going to try and say. Yeah, so that was the spur of the moment. I just wish I would have thought preemptively more about it, cut those rookies.
Thank you for being patient.
Doing all that. Yeah, we're almost done. As a matter of fact, after this, we only have Penthouse Pimps and West Coast Voodoo to talk about. And by the way, I'm just going to hang on to Jaden Daniels forever, whether or not he's on contract. I'm just going to hang right on.
That's my conundrum with keepers. You talk about DeAndre Hopkins, when we do with him, but I almost feel like no matter what, just to spite Boo, I need to hold on to Garrett Wilson for as long as possible. Like, I want to have that 7-year later Derrick Henry report to just see where Garrett Wilson goes, even though it wasn't a trade. But
he's a great talent. He's a great talent. Why not hang on to him? He's a great talent.
I think you're going to see his now that they brought in Devontae, my bad. All these niggas with multiple syllables. It's going to open up Garrett Wilson for some more opportunity. I think you're going to see more of those performances now that there's somebody else that needs to get some attention in the field. So,
speaking of the Henry report, Voodoo, after scoring 100 and a million points against me last week, promptly went back to scoring 91.5.
Back to Boosie.
Not breaking 100.
And this is why Brandon wonders why I'm not celebrating victories early and being super positive, because I lose to Voo. I lose 1.5, 1.5.
Statistically,
Jaden Daniels gets hurt.
You could have won that game
against the Panthers, where he probably would have scored 65 points.
It's a tale as old as time, man. The Cinderella story, where the hoe gets to be Cinderella for a night, or what was it? They cloned Tyrone, where the prostitute gets to be a superhero for a couple days. Boo had his week in the sun, and now he's back to giving up the Boosie to the pimps. I mean, it's only right that the pimps took some of that Boosie.
Yeah.
That was witty.
Right.
Very witty.
That was real deep.
But
the good news is
that, once you go black, you never go back.
Hilarious. Boo's had the whole color rainbow inside of him this season. No, but he and your cousin are in a deadlocked battle for name change.
And I think Boo's going to be favored in that game at this point.
Man, I haven't talked to Brian in a couple weeks. I got to hit him up and see what's going on.
Couple weeks. Whoa.
You owe me a conversation, man, because you said offline we got to talk about the future of the Queef Swallowers. So let's talk at some point.
I think that I think that on this podcast we should be a fantasy football detective podcast, because I think we unearthed the truth on the podcast about the collusion, and the pressure was so intense that he had to back away from his cousin, and we see what really happens when the collusion stops. 50, like you have to, like to get 52 points, I have to try. You have to try to get 52 points, bro. Like it's easier to put up 100 than it is to put up 52. Think about that.
I've never had anything to do with that man's roster.
Yeah.
It's going into some bad.
We're well past that point.
Right?
So just forget the
I'm not your wife,
denials.
bro. You ain't
We're
gotta
well
lie,
past
bro.
that.
You have to lie to me. I'm not your wife. Just
Hey, well, we're about to push up on about an hour, and just real quick going through next week's matchups, because we got to shout out the boys in blue. I match up with the Sugandis, so hopefully he turns into a pumpkin next week. Frogs,
Hopefully.
you got Rudy's replacements next week. You got to feel pretty good about that one.
Win.
You know, I try to feel good every week, man, and I put up that quote early Sunday morning with Steve Carell, and it's like no matter what, like no matter how confident I feel, you just never know, man. I felt confident this week, but it's like something about like fantasy football where you wake up every Sunday to just feel that pain, right? Like,
yeah,
it's a tough game, man. I feel like I should beat Rudy.
Damn.
But fuck, man, you never know.
Damn, what era is this where the 4-time champ feels confused and lost? His fucking kids are Dodgers fans. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, not to talk a lot of shit, but a 15 championship team just took a fat, juicy L to a now 8-time champion. So, you know, old-time champions lose sometimes. Sometimes they win.
We're talking about the Yankees. Happens. The Yankees have 27 championships.
I said 15, didn't I? 27. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
A lot.
They lost to a new 8, you know. So it happens. You know?
And just for clarification, there's no confusion between my sports loyalties and my children's sports loyalties. I think we discussed it on the podcast.
No, I know that.
I've given my kids the freedom to do what they want with their lives.
Here.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm just kind of making a joke about how it would hurt me if Malia was like, "Fuck the Dodgers. I love the Giants." And I'd be like, what the fuck? But I mean, I'm just an idiot like that.
If you lived in the Bay, if you met your wife and lived in the Bay, the likelihood of that happening would be very great.
Oh, I understand all the dynamics.
It's different. But I get it. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Sorry about that. Yeah, you did it. NJC, you've got the curse next week. Who knows which?
I mean, at this point, you know, I just want to try to get the highest. Well, I just want to get to the playoffs, man. I mean, so statistically, it's looking pretty good. I just need to focus on fucking, you know, the injuries. I don't like injuries in the later part of the season. So we got to fortify the team. But, you know, Curse is going to give me his best shot, pause, and I'm going to give him mine, pause.
And you don't like bye weeks, man, so you might as well take a few L's here and fight the way you like to fight through the playoffs.
I mean, I was looking at, you know, today Lou knocked me off of a 7-win streak. It's hard to tie long streaks together. So starting off a new one to be good, right off on Curse's ass.
All right, well done, well said. Pimps and Quan, you got the OG.
No, I always struggle with the Pimps, man. He's another boomer bust type of team. I mean, he's like boomer or median. Like he's usually hangs around either the hundreds, the 110, 109, and then a boom, I have that 140, 150. So let's hope.
And it's always got to be an interesting matchup with Quan and the Pimps. It's almost like a Black Mirror episode where Quan's like playing his future self,
his older self. What's that movie Gemini with Will Smith and Bomb? Yeah,
hey, yeah, that's it.
But, the Pimps has all my old players, man. He sniped me in the draft.
Here we go.
Of all my, you know, what do you mean here we go? But he has, you know, I missed Demo. He's got Demo. He got my tight end, my kicker.
You're tied in for like 6 weeks. What do you?
He was supposed to be the heir apparent.
He's got my tight end. The guy you picked up off of waivers in week 11. That guy. That's funny shit, man.
Trey McBride would not have brought you the victory tonight.
No, he would not have. That my true guy is Kelsey. True, right? But anyway, yeah, tough path with the pimps.
You fucking drafted Kelsey just to win in week 9.
Does the victory, even though it's regular season, do you take any consolation in, like, how does it feel coming off of the last time you played in JC?
Oh, feels good. I look, for me, I haven't done the study yet, but for me, bye weeks are extremely important. Like, my whole goal of the regular season is to get a bye week. It gives you one step closer to a championship. Bye weeks have got me to the championship multiple times. To me, that's the ultimate goal of the regular season. So it's important.
Not going to the bye weeks has gotten me multiple championships multiple times.
We'll see.
I don't know what happened to your microphone, but it's
Don't try to shit on me and then try to get all fucking
do you guys meet again in the Super Bowl or before the Super Bowl?
It probably will only be. I don't know. It depends on the seating.
I think
depends on seating.
I think we'll see. He plays the curse next week.
It depends on seating.
Yeah, we know it depends. Yeah, but I think
I don't know.
Are you already overlooking your opponent?
Yes, of course. It just depends on seating.
I mean, seeding, winning games, there's a lot of things. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there hypothetically.
I say that if we meet again, it will be in the Super Bowl. I don't see NJC being in the same bracket as mine. Come end of the season.
Yeah, he's got Curse and Truth and Sugandis. He also has Rudy and West Coast Voodoo.
That Curse, Truth, and Sugandis are some tough matchups to.
Can be.
Yeah.
Juan's got Pimps, Truth, who's coming in second. Rebel Scum also gets some Rudy booty.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I play Quan when Jaden Daniels has a bye week, so that's like week 14, I think.
I play Vu when Lamar Jackson has a bye week, week 14.
Ooh. Yeah, Vu gets who's coming in second. That could be.
No,
we don't know how that.
Who's coming in second is getting closer and closer to fucking the fucking playoffs.
I think he's gonna make it. To be honest,
here's the thing: who coming in second wins next week. He'll be in this. He could, and some of these 6-3 teams take an L. Yeah. He'll be in the fucking contention. He'll be back in that pool, bro.
I'm saying that.
Fourth
to
sixth place.
He'll be one game ahead.
When was the last time that he made the playoffs? Was it 1988? The last time the Dodgers won the World Series?
Definitely was in the 2020s. I can tell you that.
Well, look, he's got Voodoo this week, but then he's got Curse, Scum, Quan, Truth to end the season.
Yeah, he's got
that's not the easiest last month of the season for him. But I think he's going to change his name this week from Who's Coming in Second to Who's Coming in Boosie.
That's fucking great. I wish we could end it there. One more Queef Swallowers and T Ruth. T Ruth's got the magic. Come on, Queef Swallowers is the new Boosie. He is. 52 points is Vusi defined. That's definitive Vusi.
I think we got to come up with a new name. I don't think you can even grace his presence with some kind of Uzi. Like, I think
this is like the NBA's mid-season tournament, only it's for worst score ever. So now we even downgrade your name further.
Yeah,
that's terrible. One last thing before we go. Shout out to the world champs, Los Angeles Dodgers. It was a most incredible season. Last week we were talking about how they might sweep, and then they got fucking banged on 11-4 in game 4, and then it looked like the series was about to come back to LA, and some wild shit happened in game 5. I just watched the replay on MLB Network over the weekend. I can't believe the shit that went down in that inning. How these professional players made like Aaron Judge making his first error of the fucking season on that one play, and like pitchers not covering the bag and just throwing it into the dirt, and how that literally changed the momentum. We talk about momentum shifts in sports, but like you could feel it. And at that moment, I looked at the fam and I was like, we're gonna fucking win this game. Like we're gonna fucking win the World Series right here. And
that's why people say it's arguably one of the best games, right? Because just like that, like you can't even tell what it is. It's just momentum. It's all about momentum.
Yeah,
that's crazy. You said it right.
What's that?
No, I'm saying you said it right. Like it was the Yankees had the momentum of the game, and then just that error was the lead off to two other errors that led to the Dodgers taking it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, truly one of the best seasons of baseball I've ever witnessed, from being where they're at, winning all the games that they won, winning the division again, and then not really being the pick to win it all, having to play the Padres, who clearly were out for blood, hate the Dodgers, should have won that series, not even probably, but somehow get shut out for 2 games. And then really looking back on it, which I have many times over the last 5 days, like the fucking rest of the playoffs were a breeze. I mean, the Mets won a couple of games, but we smoked them in every other game. And the Yankees series wasn't even competitive. Outside of game 1, that shit was, and of course game 5.
It's almost like the commissioner called in, like, you got to let the Yankees win one of these games. Like,
oh yeah, I agree. I agree. We need more money. It wasn't enough money.
Like, hey, money in the start that rookie pitcher.
Right. I mean, it was
sweating on the mound.
I think whoever won that first game, Padres win World Series, Dodgers win World Series.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, you could make the joke the commissioner called it in, but the Dodgers really didn't have any other pitchers. And I know that they were trying to space these dudes out for game 5 because they definitely didn't want to come back. And Jack Flaherty fucking blowing it in an inning and a half was definitely not in the script. And Trinan coming out and pitching multiple innings, which he hadn't done in like 10 fucking years, was in the script. And then Walker Buehler coming out. And I mean, Walker Buehler had struggled all season long. He just shut these guys down, struck out Alex Verdugo, who was talking shit about the Dodgers, who got kicked to the curb for Mookie Betts, one of the all-time best baseball players ever. And then just think about like these dudes who just signed on for a year, the Teoscar Hernandez, like all the guys that barely contributed to get a ring. Fucking Shohei playing his first season here, and how Angels fans must be absolutely. I'd quit if I was an Angels fan, I'd just fucking quit. I'd be like, I can't believe.
No, wait.
As soon as he leaves teams, he wins and has the best.
Wait, did you see the Instagram post that said Angels fans looking at Ohtani is like an ex-girlfriend looking at her ex-boyfriend, like hitting the lottery
yes.
after she fucking.
Oh man,
that shit is hilarious.
Oh man. And shout out to my guy Dave Roberts, because I feel like
he finally won my respect this season.
I've loved this guy forever, because I know that he makes bad, sometimes questionable decisions, but I think people just don't see and understand what it must take to even get this team to, like, these dudes love each other a lot, but not even just this season, for many seasons. It's just sometimes shit doesn't work out. We play fantasy football. We should understand, like, sometimes shit doesn't work out the way it should. Like, it's on paper, it's supposed to work out this way. And this dude has worn it for a long time. And now he's won as many World Series as legendary Tommy Lasorda. He's fucking been to 4 World Series. He's won half of them. He's probably I'm gonna take the over on 1.5 and say he gets to 2 more in the next decade with some of these guys and whoever else they're gonna bring in. It's his job to lose. Like, this dude. Shout out to Dave Roberts.
So you're saying he's headed to be the best Dodger coach of all time?
One more World Series and he'll do it for sure. Just a shorter. He's only been a manager for 9 seasons, and yeah, he's had great teams. But again,
Ohtani makes the future very bright.
Yeah, and Lennon mentioned it earlier. The dude's pitching next season.
I think he would have a third if it wasn't for the Houston scandal.
The Trastros really kind of obviously.
That's a
but
good point.
I was there at the parade with a couple 100,000 other Dodger fans, and it was a great experience. I rode the train out from Rialto, and I used to take the train to work. I've never seen the train packed ever in my life, and it was packed with Dodger fans. It was standing room only. There was a sea of people marching from Union Station out throughout the city. It was an incredible thing. I've never seen the city like that. And we got a good spot where people were hugging each other, was fucking dapping each other, singing happy birthday to Fernando Valenzuela, falling off roofs and dying. I didn't see any of that. Rest in peace to the person who did that. That's terrible. But I mean, and then actually Sugandis was there. We were at First and Hill together. We were just on opposite sides of the street. I was next to the metro station, and he was across the street from me. But we linked up, and we walked to the Arts District. And I thought that was a smart plan. Turns out 150,000 other people thought it was a smart plan too. So it was hard to get a spot out there. But it was just such a crazy day to be walking through the streets, waving the flags, people honking their horns, doing donuts, throwing fireworks off. If I was younger and single, I would have not come back on the 2:30 train. I would have stayed there a lot longer and just embraced and enjoyed it. But what
just
a great
pure
week.
coincidence that out of 200,000 people, you ran into Sugandis?
Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, I mean, he asked me where I was at. I mean, what I was doing if I was going out to the parade that morning. And I told him kind of where I was at, and whether or not he planned on I didn't ask him if he planned on being there, or just got to that point because I was also there. But I told him, like, hey, let's just link up afterwards. It's not going to last that long. I mean, I stood for 2.5 hours, and it was over in under 5 minutes. They just fucking cruised.
Like Disneyland.
It was like
Disneyland.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's like, waiting in that line, and then 3.5 minutes later, you're back out of it. And you're like, wow, that was a long time.
Was getting a ticket inside of Dodger Stadium a hard ticket to get?
I didn't even get an email for it. It must have been like trying to get into Comic-Con or something. My friend got one. He was given one. Somebody got one and sold one to him. I shouldn't say it was given to him, but I heard it was pretty hard to get. You sat and kind of waited, but it wasn't even really an option. I figured that it was the parade or bust, and I had to pull the kids out of school so one could babysit the other. Had to get approval from the wife to disregard their education for just this one momentous occasion, and that was that, man. That was that. Great week for Los Angeles sports and Dodger fans, and that's a week for us, man. That's it.
I wanted, if I can. It was dope to see Mookie get his third ring. That gets him into, the GOAT talks. And he had he kind of was slumping a bit, and then his bat turned up, and he had some clutch hits to contribute to the championship. And I really appreciate, whether it was this year or last year, when he kind of put that invite out to Black folks in Los Angeles to come out to the stadium. And I think that woke up a lot of people. A lot of people started going to games more than they had in the past. So dope to see him get that championship. Dave Roberts, you mentioned Teoscar, man. What are the odds the Dodgers sign him?
I think they're high. I mean, don't break up the band. Bring this dude back. We got the offense.
Are these Soto whispers real?
No, I mean, they might kick the tires. I don't think he's going to come out here and play. And I mean, we definitely need a badass Dominican, and they're both badass Dominican players. But I like Teo, man. Teo proved he could do it. He's clutch. Give him what he asks for, and let's get some pictures, and let's fucking keep it rolling, man. I hope he stays. I think it's a high possibility. I think they're going to bring him back, man. They like the mojo.
I like the mojo too.
Hey, on that note, thank you guys.
Oh wait, before we go, I got to give a last shout out. Thank you.
I thought about it. Yes, thank you.
I got to give a shout out, man. I got to give a shout out to Jackson, man. He Not only did he pull his grades up, now he basically is on the verge of straight A's. He was like the MVP of his little football game last week, man. He got some crucial fourth down flag grabs to turn over the team. He really stepped it up. He was kind of like the heartbeat of the defense. He had them all excited. Jax was he was doing his thing, so I just wanted to shout him out real quick. So,
hey man,
yeah.
shout out to the kids.
So while Jax grabs flags, his dad grabs.
Oh,
Wow.
You know,
So
I gotta make sure I stop the podcast right after I say congratulations, you bastard.
I haven't had to use the beat button all season long since we changed Seabridge's name. And that's that might be the beat button right there. I don't know, buddy.
Oh God, Jesus. I mean, hey, that was poetic justice. Fuck you.
I was gonna fucking say shout out to fucking proud dad moments, and this guy's gonna talk about pulling.
That was good though.
Hey man, the tranny hunter, no doubt. Well, hey, week 9 recap, any given Sunday pod. Defending champ NJC, the commish, ambassadors of Quan, Oval Scum. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Please like and subscribe.